When you think of a family sedan, what vehicle comes to mind? Maybe the Honda Accord? Maybe the Toyota Camry? Hey guys, welcome to Chris Mack. In this video, I have the 2025 Toyota Camry SE all-wheel drive. In this video, I'm going to show you all the various features, take them on the drive, man, that's a loud truck right there, and give you guys my final verdict. Diesel life! Man, I'm getting distracted. But this car doesn't have a remote start, but let me fix that for you. It's already on because it's a hybrid in electric mode. But now, let's go ahead. Drum roll, get into this review. Woo! Look on the outside of the 2025 Toyota Camry SE all-wheel drive. This is your key fob with lock, unlock, a trunk release as is your panic button, and your Toyota logo with Camry spelled out on the back of the key fob. As for this vehicle is $33,920, dressed in a midnight black exterior on a black and gray Softex interior. Now looking at the exterior design, specifically at the front, I see a lot of the Prius influence right here with the crab claw design for the headlights. You have a LED headlight setup right here with halogen turn signals right here. The turn logo is actually above the front grille, which actually makes this look a little bit more menacing and aggressive. Now this being the SE trim does have the sport mesh grille up front, which looks very aggressive and mean. I'll talk a little bit more about the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 once we hit the road. Now the 2025 Camry is available in 4 trims and 2 configurations each. You have the base LE, this SE right here, as well as the XLE and a full-blown XSE, all available in front and all-wheel drive. Now coming over to wheels on this version right here, you have a 18-inch black wheel wrapped on an all-season tire. LED turn signals on the side mirror right here with your blind spot information. Now this version does have the convenience package for $600, which does include the keyless entry, as was the auto-dimming rearview mirror with a garage door opener. Speaking more about dimensions of this vehicle, it is 193.5 inches long from nose to tail. Gas tank is over here on the driver's side. Now coming around to the rear of the car, I have to say I definitely like the last generation a little bit better when it comes to the rear tail lights. This looks a little bit more mundane in my personal opinion. But you do have a single exit dual exhaust tip right here with LED lights, free brake lights, halogen turn signals, and halogen reverse lights right here. I do like how Camry is blacked out right here with this SE trim, making it look even more sleek with its midnight black exterior. The SE does also have this rear spoiler right here, as you guys can see. But let me show you guys the trunk space. And you can see the button is actually cleverly hidden right between the Y and the R. Now looking at the trunk space, you will find 15.1 cubic feet of space. You can fold down the seats with these releases on both sides. A little bit more storage down below with a temporary spare tire. And you do also have a jack. I hope you guys can hear me over all this noise. I mean, this is probably the best space for me to actually do this whole review and so on, but let me not ramble too much more. But now let me show you guys under the hood where all of the action happens. Hood release is right here. Boom. Not to say though, my personal opinion, as far as like comparison versus the last generation, it was more like a big jump or big leap as far as technology and innovation goes. This version kind of like picks up from that generation and adds just a little bit more. Now under the hood of this Camry, you'll find a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, which makes 184 horsepower on its own, with 2 AC motors and a 0.6 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery for a total system output of 232 horsepower, while getting 46 mpg combined. It's 46 city, 46 highway, and 46 combined. Man, that's a lot of 46s. But curb weight is 3,494 pounds, and you use a eCVT transmission. Now you can also get this vehicle in a front-wheel drive version, which makes 225 horsepower. Let me get a 3/4 front shot for you guys. Boom. But now, let's hit the interior where all the action happens. We are going to start at the back seats, of course. Now, right now, the seat for someone that's a little bit taller than 5'6", probably be, let's say, maybe 5'9", 5'10" or so. But sitting behind myself with the seat mostly back, I have about 3 to 4 inches of legroom. As far as headroom goes, I have about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of headroom back here. Now, speaking of amenities, you do have your window controls on the door panels right here with 2 air vents, and you do have some charger ports down below, USB-C port and a USB-A port. Storage compartments on both sides. That's your window sticker over here. Check the description below for all various different information and options of this vehicle right here. Oh, there we go. Get the center console right here with the cup holders, and you do have some illumination up top. But now let's hit the cockpit where all the action happens. Now, I will be actually reviewing the XLE and XSE at a later date, so stay tuned for that video. But I want to do more of a budget-friendly review. But looking over here at the door panels, you do have your window and mirror controls right here. This is a black and gray Softex interior. You can see the gray inserts on the seats backs right here. You have an 8-way power driver's seat with a manual adjustable steering column and a manual adjustable passenger seat over there. Hood release is further down below with your sport pedals. You have your headlight controls right here for your auto dimming high beams, trash control, your cluster illumination, as well as your trunk release and gas tank button right here. Hopping inside of the Camry, let me tell you, man, it is hot. But looking in front of you, you have this 3-spoke steering wheel right here with your voice command functions, your volume controls, and all your media information on this side of the steering wheel with your Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 technology, which we'll try on the road. Also on this side, you can toggle through all the various different controls inside of the cluster with paddle shifters behind the wheels. You have your light controls on this side and your wiper controls on that side. But speaking a little bit more about this 7-inch cluster right here in front of me, I'll be using these buttons right here to toggle through all the various different information. Right now I have it on this regular message setting. I can toggle up for various different settings. Vehicle settings, all your driver assist settings are right here. You can also toggle up again. Boom, you can see where it's actually sending power through the all-wheel drive system. MPG settings are right here. Trip information, and you can also see if it's using the battery or the engine to accelerate you forward. Tire pressure monitors is right here. You also have your media functions, which I do have the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto set up, which I will talk about in 1 second. Adaptive cruise control mode is right here with your heading, and you do also have some more eco displays right here, and so on. Push button start is just below the cluster right here on the right hand side. But I want to speak a little bit more about this 8-inch display right here. Now keep in mind, you can get a 12-inch display as an option in this SE trim, which I highly recommend. But speak a little more about this infotainment right here. You do have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And I do want to start with a quick audio test. Now it does have a 6-speaker sound system, so let's try it out. Not to say though, actually having it on 44 for the volume, the sound system ain't too bad, but keep in mind if you are an audiophile, you definitely want to get the JBL sound system in the higher trims or the XLE and XSE. But look a little bit more at the infotainment system right here. You have your navigation settings, which is a subscription-based system. You have your radio settings right here for your media, or you can also open up your radio for AM, FM, Sirius XM radio. Phone connections are right here. You have your vehicle settings. So you can go to your climate controls. You can change the heating for the climate in a eco mode. You can also change all the climate controls right here in a front mode right here for as far as fan speed and where you're distributing the power. Trip information is right here for all your MPG settings and so on. You also have your vehicle alert function, so it'll let you know if you have any errors or messages inside of the infotainment. And you do have some more settings right here for personal information. General settings for as far as updates go. You also have a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, which does come with this vehicle. Display settings right here, you can actually change the configure the brightness and also the backup camera settings and so on. Sound, you can actually change and configure how you want the sound system to sound. Some more vehicle customization settings right here as far as the light settings, door control settings, climate settings, and you do have a utility mode right here. And you can see some more apps and stuff right here as far as the software updates and dealer information. Volume control is right here. You do have a dual zone climate control, which you can adjust with these little toggle buttons right here. Has a nice satisfying click though when you toggle up and down between all the stuff. Hazard button is integrated right here, just next to the air vents. Now looking further down below, you have a wireless charging pad. My iPhone is charging up with no problem at all. You have a USB-A port for connectivity and charging into the infotainment with 2 USB-C ports, which is just for charging. You have a little more storage right here with 2 cup holders, so a pretty good size. And this right here is your gear shifter, so let me show you guys that. Put the vehicle into reverse. We have a backup camera with trajectory lines and so on. You can also change the angle right here. I'll just leave it on the standard mode right here. You can go neutral drive, and you can also go over to a sport mode right here. Now speaking of sport mode, you have all your various different drive modes right here. For your sport mode right here, you can see it changes the gauge cluster design. Boom. You have a normal mode, and you also have a eco mode for maximum amount of fuel economy. You also do have a EV mode right here, so when the battery is like charged over a certain percentage, you can run in all electric mode. So if you hit the button, you can't see it actually displays right here that you're in EV mode. A auto hold function with an electronic parking brake. Now looking in the center console, you do have a little bit more storage, as well as a 12-volt charger right here. Also speaking of storage, you have your glove box, which is a pretty good size. And you do have a auto-dimming rear mirror up top with garage door openers and LED illumination with all your telematics and so on right here for your SOS button. And I actually like how the sunglass holder is actually integrated up top, which is a very cool touch. But now, let's go ahead and take the new 2025 Camry for a drive and see how it does. So let's go. See all-wheel drive. And on this rainy day, we'll be putting that all-wheel drive system to the test. Now, speaking of visibility out the front, rear, and sides, you can see very good over the hood, as well as the side mirrors and even out the back. Now, speaking of seat comfort, it's probably average. Unfortunately, this vehicle doesn't have heated seats, which I would expect for about the $34,000 price tag that this vehicle does ask for. Now, you do have power seats as well as a manual adjustable steering column and a manual adjustable passenger seat. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about the specs in the Walkaround, where this version does have 232 horsepower with a all-wheel drive system. Now, what I want to do is compare and contrast versus the last generation Camry, which is actually in rotation with my Veloster N. So every other week I actually swap out cars. So 1 week I'm in my Veloster, 1 week I'm in my 2018 Camry. So yeah. You can also go into an EV mode. You have to be going under 25 miles an hour to get that to last. But compared to that 4-cylinder 2.5 Camry XSE that I do daily sometimes, I have to say this definitely does have a little more of that low down kind of pull thanks to the electric motors. That vehicle made about 206 horsepower versus the 232 of this version right here. Now speaking about the exterior design, I have to say I definitely do like the front end, especially the XSE trim, which I will be reviewing at a later date. I want to do a more affordable review for you guys, something in the $30,000 range. Yeah, that torque though. This is definitely more than enough acceleration. 6.9 seconds 0 to 60 for the front wheel drive, and this all-wheel drive version is 6.5 seconds. Now speaking about the technology aspect, you do have the 7-inch cluster right here, which as you can see right in front of me has my engine as well as battery, showing you where it's sending in the power to accelerate you forward. And when you're like sport mode, full throttle, it works in tandem. Now speaking about the infotainment, Honda driver. But speaking about the infotainment, this is a 8-inch display. It does have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and all the various different settings. Now speaking of the Honda Accord, how does this compare and contrast to that vehicle? Now I did drive a Sport, I believe, L trim last year, which is kind of like their middle ground trim with the 1.5 turbo. Did I have the 1.5? Yeah, well no, it's the hybrid system. Yes, I had the hybrid system. I had to refresh myself. But in comparison and contrast, I have to say the Honda actually has more like feature content for the price point, whereas the Camry has like the reliability and the solid build quality. Now speaking about the design, I do like the front end design of this version right here. The back end is okay, but I prefer the prior generation when it comes to rear end designs, or even the new Accord. I actually like the new Accord rear end design. Imagine if they like graft the new Accord rear end to the back of this. Oh, this would be amazing. It actually look like a mini Crown. Now I'm hoping Toyota actually does introduce a Prime version to replace the V6 XSE trim, which they did have in the last generation. I mean, man, I would definitely miss a little bit more of that acceleration versus this generation right here. But I mean, keep in mind the sales rate was actually very slow and small on the higher trim vehicles. Same with the Accord 2.0 Turbo. I think we should activate sport mode, speaking about sporty driving. What I noticed right off the bat versus the last generation is a little bit more of like a dynamic feel. The steering is actually more responsive, more aggressive, and you can really feel it, and it has just a little bit more like a playful feel. Oh, and just rolling on, that power just takes off. It's so smooth though, that's what I really noticed about this car. You have a multi-link suspension out back with a strut suspension up front, and does have great ride quality. Now you do have paddles behind the wheel which you can use to go through the eCVT transmission, which simulates 8 gears, but in reality I would just leave it in the sport setting. It's not bad, but I think it's more effective just leaving it in its automatic mode. I have to say this is a big leap as far as like technology goes, going from the NA25 to this hybrid system. It's a whole lot better, and I recommend it, especially if you're coming from a 2.5 prior generation Camry. You'll definitely enjoy this setup right here. Now we do have to try a quick acceleration, as stated, 6.5 seconds to 60. So let's go. And that's more than enough acceleration on a daily basis. Keep in mind, you're getting 46 mpg combined. Yes, that's a huge improvement versus the last generation. I'm talking about the 2.5, not even the hybrid system last generation, but yeah. Going back into normal mode, which I'm sure 99% of you will probably be driving in this mode. You can also put it into a EV specific mode right here. You got to be going under 25 miles an hour. Now, I did have the chance to drive this vehicle a few miles off camera to get a couple of first impressions. That is a nice retro car right there. So right now we're in EV mode, so it's using the electric battery to propel you forward. Now, what I want to talk about too is that when we did the acceleration, if you noticed, obviously you have two motors up front and one motor out back. So it's actually going to spin up the front wheels as it has more power than the front motor, which is hilarious. But as you can see right there, we hit 25 miles an hour. And the EV mode was deactivated. Not to say that overall, I really don't have much negative to say about this specific SE trim. Now, keep in mind the price delta has went up for this generation of Camry, especially in the SE and LE trims. The price delta actually didn't jump up that much in the XSE and XLE trims, but you'll definitely feel the sting in this trim right here. This vehicle is about $34,000. And like I said a second ago, man, I was hoping for the heated seats, and I think the 12-inch display option would be a nice addition for sure. Now, I do appreciate Toyota for actually adding the all-wheel drive system. Obviously, there are a lot of buyers that are out there buying the RAV4 just because of the fact that it has all-wheel drive for inclement weather like snow, for instance. And I mean, in reality, all you need is some good tires and decent off-road clearance, or just ground clearance in general, and you'll be just fine. And hybrid Camry is very refined. I mean, when you think of like Toyota hybrids, the first car that comes to mind is the Prius. And I mean, that car's been out for God knows how long. I'll probably have to insert a year, or someone can let me know in the comments below how long the vehicle has been out. But they really refined the hybrid system, and it's very smooth for sure. Man, that steering though, that steering is nice. And electric power just helps to accelerate you up and out of the hole in no time. Keep in mind, we're actually in eco mode right now. I think we should try a quick U-turn test. Shoot. Not bad for all-wheel drive. Now, I want to try out the adaptive cruise control, part of the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 drive assist technology. So let's go up to this display right here. I'm going to set my display, set my speed. Unfortunately, it looks like it's unavailable. But I'm sure in the right conditions, when it's not like raining or drizzling like it is right now, you'll probably have better luck with the adaptive cruise control systems. Now, speaking a little bit more about the Safety Sense 3.0 technology, you'd also have lane trace assist with steer assist, which is probably one of my biggest complaints of the last generation. When you did like veer over your lane, it didn't pull you back over, it just chimed and let you know that you was a terrible driver. I've noticed across the board with these family sedans that they're actually like improving the lane keeping assist with the steer assist function, and it works a whole lot better. Now, as we get a little bit closer to the dealership, I'm gonna get to the conclusion of what I think overall about this new Camry. Now, I have to say though, as stated before, the price delta of the SE and lower end trims have definitely gone up. And like the ratio between like the fully loaded trims has actually gotten smaller. So keep that in mind to see how much like price going to be if you just go for a XSE trim versus this SE trim right here. Or if you just forgo the all-wheel drive system. And keep in mind, this vehicle does have the convenience package for $600, which does have the smart keyless entry system, as well as this auto-dimming mirror with a garage door opener, which, to be honest, at this price point, I feel like should be a standard. But other than that, though, I have to say the all-wheel drive system is solid for sure. You obviously get a little bit of slip because it's obviously getting more power at the front than at the rear. But, I mean, just the convenience of having that in inclement weather, if you're like the snowy city or so on, is perfect. And you can see right there, the blind spot monitoring is coming in clutch, as it should. But yeah, that's all I really have to say though about this new Camry. I think that the convenience package should be standard, and the 12-inch multimedia display should be standard as well, and that would really make for a nice value quotient. Obviously, Toyota has the reliability standard, while Hyundai kind of more plays, and Kia plays the value quotient, and of course the Accord is like the value proposition as well with reliability. But that's all I really have to say though about this 2025 Toyota Camry. Make sure to stay tuned for the XSE and XLE video to see how this vehicle actually solves like the criticisms and stuff that I do have with this vehicle, but at a more expensive price. Keep in mind of that. But you see how clear this backup camera is. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. This is Chris signing out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.